Right now, TikTok and WeChat. We know the administration signed executive actions, and WeChat, I guess, supposed to be done. TikTok downloads were going to stop yesterday. What's going on with all of this? Well, here to talk more about it, we have Adam Rizzieri. He's the Chief Marketing Officer and Agency Partner Interactive, and you may follow at the Adam Riz on Twitter. All right, Adam, what's happening in real time with WeChat and TikTok?
So far with WeChat and TikTok, we're really seeing kind of this struggle to survive in the U.S. kind of in real time. And it's like, or it's almost, if you think about like a bad relationship where, one of the people in the relationship's trying to break up with the other, but the other's not quite ready to let go. That's kind of what's going on. And you've got kids involved too. And those are all the users that are on the apps. And so, right now we're seeing ultimately the Trump administration and a lot of folks in our government, from both sides of the aisle, frankly, really kind of come out and say, hey, listen, these apps are really dangerous. These apps are actually national security concerns, and they're national security concerns because of how the data is used, and ultimately because of who the owner of that information is once you actually download and use these applications. WeChat is it's actually been described as sort of a super app. It's not just a messaging app. It's also a social media platform. It even does mobile payment processing, and it tracks group of users, and it tracks their activity in terms of like where they're going, where they spend their time, who they talk with, the nature of their conversations. It tracks all this information, and it's pretty strongly used mostly by the Chinese American population, but really it's not that huge in terms of the world of apps. Like, just in the U.S. at least, you have just over 3 million monthly active users on WeChat in the United States, and a lot of the users that are on it are actually Chinese nationals. So when you have Chinese students come into the country and you have Chinese citizens come to the United States for travel, they're using WeChat to communicate with each other and then also to communicate back home. But all that activity is being tracked by the very top, and that's the Chinese Communist Party, the government. So it's kind of like a big brother tool. But then on the other side of the fence, you have TikTok, right? And it's this huge social platform that quite literally has 100 million downloads in the United States. It's got 100 million active users following 175 million downloads. So you have a lot of U.S. citizens using TikTok, and you've got these Chinese nationals using WeChat. So kind of what you're seeing now is sort of this push to sort of keep TikTok alive, because a lot of Americans are having a lot of fun with it, really not sort of considering, who's actually watching what's going on and who actually has access to the videos and the content that's being shared. And then WeChat, I think you're probably going to see WeChat go away, but over the weekend it did kind of, it got up after the 8 count. It was like it got punched out on the ring, and they were almost down for the count. They would have been totally banned from the App Store on Sunday, but a judge out of California basically responded to a group of people that were saying, hey, listen, we need WeChat for purposes of freedom of speech, the First Amendment, and there's not any other available platforms that we can use to communicate, which I think is total hogwash. But ultimately, WeChat's sticking around because of a federal injunction that was filed and approved on Sunday. And TikTok's sticking around because you've got Oracle and Walmart and basically a lot of U.S. users trying to find a way to make it work.
Adam, that was a great explanation of what's going on, where we are in this process. The Oracle deal in particular, this has been the one that has been publicly announced to be the furthest along with TikTok. It would be 20% only, a 20% stake for Oracle. So you would have the backers, the Chinese backers of TikTok that would remain the majority shareholders. Is there any way from a security standpoint, with Oracle holding a minority share, for them to ensure the safety of the users and the information that would be on that service?
I think there's a lot of problems with the deal as proposed. Right now they're talking about forming a separate entity called TikTok Global that will basically run TikTok in the U.S. And 20% of the ownership right now would be, as proposed, a cumulative ownership between Oracle and Walmart. Now, Walmart's using this as an e-commerce play. It wants to get in there and ultimately kind of level up what it's doing in the e-commerce world using TikTok users. Oracle, they're obviously going to be the bigger U.S. operator there, and it's for reasons of the perception of data security. They're like, hey, listen, if Oracle is housing and storing TikTok's data, it's got to be safe, right? Problem is, TikTok's data is TikTok's data, and TikTok is owned by ByteDance. ByteDance is a company that, of course, is it's an asset of the Chinese government. So, it's kind of a perception of security, but it's not really the real thing. The other 80% of TikTok Global, they're saying it would be basically owned by the U.S. population. They would offer it in an IPO on the market, and as consumers, we'd be able to buy stock in TikTok Global. But here's the thing. TikTok Global is not going to actually own TikTok's algorithm. It's not going to actually own the assets that make TikTok what it is today. So, when you buy shares in TikTok Global, what's to say that, 5 years down the road or 2 years down the road, the Chinese government doesn't just walk away with their super valuable algorithm and all that user data they've collected over time?
Adam, that was tremendous. Thank you very much for the time and the explanation. We appreciate it.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Yep, that is Adam Rizzieri. He's the Chief Marketing Officer, Agency Partner Interactive. And again, you may follow at the Adam Riz.